You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Let's do this thing.
I like that one.
Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday, live from the Sports Closet studio, live on the Oilers Nation YouTube. I am Tyler Yaremchuk, and I slept on the floor last night. That was depressing. That was really depressing. They ruined Sam Gagner night.
They really did.
How do you
really
ruin
did.
Sam Gagner night? No Liam today. He is on a scouting mission in Saskatchewan. So, yeah, no Liam today. He was on Oilers Nation After Dark last night, giving his thoughts. But we're going to break down that hockey game last night today on the show. We got a couple of friends popping by for visits as well. Our pal Robin Brownley will swing in. He'll give us his opinion on whatever the hell's going on with this Oilers team. Boy, you know I'm out of shape when just listening to there.
You sound out of breath right now.
Yeah.
Well, you did it a couple times for
Yeah,
practice.
we did do practice runs. Also, Colby Cohen, former NHLer, former Chicago Blackhawks broadcaster, now a contributor at Daily Faceoff. He's going to swing by and give us his opinion on how this Oilers team looks. No one on waivers today. No one on waivers today in the NHL, so that's good. That's good. Tyler Mulick is in on the Fitting Cat YouTube chat with the first comment of the day. This is a Sam Gagner fan account from this point on. Oilers will get some bounces. And then he put in brackets the opinion I had after the Oilers got blown out in their opener and said, we'll have a 7-2-1 record and we'll laugh about this, right? No one's laughing anymore. The Oilers lost again. The vibes were supposed to be better after the Heritage Classic victory. And to be fair, they kind of were.
We played well.
Yeah, it's just, man, with this team, it's kicking the junk after kicking the junk after kicking the junk. The Oilers fall 4-3 to the Dallas Stars. They now sit at 2-6-1 on the season. If you want some positivity, if they win their games in hand, they're only 12 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, it's not going good right now, obviously. The record is ugly, but they're playing good hockey, people. And I think that's kind of going to be the overarching theme of today's show. I still believe, even after watching what we watched last night or getting the result that we got last night, that this team's going to be fine at some point. And I tweeted it, and a lot of people don't like it, and I get it because it's not what you want to hear. The Oilers are painfully unlucky. Painfully unlucky. Every mistake they make is ending up in the back of their net. Every single one. It's ridiculous. We'll go through them again, and I know some of you, well, they should stop making mistakes. Every team makes mistakes. Dallas made mistakes. Let's go break down the first goal from last night's hockey game. Scott Wedgwood turns it over behind the net. That puck ends up in the back of the net if it's Stuart Skinner falling down like that, but whatever, I digress. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins tries to put it into the open net, somehow doesn't. Rebound somehow doesn't go in. Puck goes to the corner, to the top of the zone. Cody Ceci makes a boneheaded decision to pinch. The one thing they teach you when you're a defenseman playing minor hockey,
don't do that.
Well, like if you're hesitating, go back. If you're hesitating, it's the wrong decision. Same thing with Stuart Skinner against the Jets last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever the hell that was. If you hesitate, get back because it's not the right choice. You need to be 100% sure on those decisions. Cody Ceci takes a little stutter step in, and then it's like, and I'm stuck, and boom.
Gone.
2-on-1 the other way. Matt Duchene shoots it, misses his spot. He's trying to go 5-hole. He ends up 8 inches off to the side. It somehow still gets through Stuart Skinner. That puck can't go in. That pinch can't happen. But good Lord, if they got a bounce on that Nugent-Hopkins wraparound, they're up 1-0, and we're probably talking about an Oilers victory right now.
I'm curious, Tyler, to ask you, were you okay with how Darnell played that on that 2-on-1? I said before, I'm no genius, but I thought that's the way you do it. You take the pass, you give Stu a clear line of sight at the shot, at the puck, and he just didn't make the save. It's the theme once again. But, yeah, it could have been 1-0 for us and quickly turned the other way.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with how Darnell Nurse played that. I think you obviously want to take away the pass. I think we saw a couple of 2-on-1s or a 2-on-1 later in that game where they left the guy open. They gave him the pass. And I mean, it was an easy one-timer into the middle of the net. So, yeah, like that first goal, again, a bounce at one end, play flips the other way. They put it in, and it's like, son of a bitch. Credit to the Oilers because they just flat out dominated that hockey game, though. Before we dig into the breakdown, I know a bunch of you are saying it in the chat. I think he was our thumbnail picture today. Let's get to our Alberta Blue Cross moment of the game, brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross and their travel insurance. There's only one thing better than sharing memories, and that is making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross travel insurance protects your memories and more wherever your travel takes you. ab.bluecross.ca/travel. Sam Gagner, baby. I mean, come on.
That's my new lock screen.
As it should be. We should have that framed and hung up in our office. The dude steps into the lineup and like you're expecting, like we talked about yesterday, people being like, oh, he's going to come in, he's going to score first goal of the game, bets, all that. I was like, let's pump the brakes here. He's going to give you 8 solid minutes of hockey.
I didn't even think he'd get 8 minutes.
Yeah. And I said he'd be more noticeable than Adam Ernie simply because he wears number 89 and we love Sam Gagner. What does he do? One of his first shifts, he sends Dylan Holloway on a perfect breakaway. Holloway can't deposit it. Needed one more step of separation there to get a good scoring chance. And then Gagner goes out in the third period like a man possessed. He was, and you know what? I think every player, Ryan McLeod, to an extent, Dylan Holloway, probably Connor Brown, even guys in the top 6 can learn something from watching those Sam Gagner goals. Head down, go to the net. That first goal he got was purely a product of him wanting it more.
He lost his stick. He didn't even celebrate with a stick in his hand.
He wanted it more than the other 9 guys on the ice, and he got rewarded. The second goal, put your head down. Evander Kane's got the puck. I'm just going to go to the net with my stick on the ice. Like they were simple, hardworking goals. I loved it.
That second one for me was a very weird because it was like right off the face-off. It was kind of like everybody just stopped playing.
Yeah.
And then Evander Kane and Sam Gagner were like, okay, we'll take the puck. We'll put our heads down, go right to the hoop. And who would have thought you got rewarded and you get one in the back of the net? Mm-hmm. The Sam Gagner chance, you were in the building, Tyler. That must have been electric. I was feeling it from here.
Yeah, like the section I was in was chanting, "We want Gagner" when they were down by 1. Like it was so good. It was so good. Yeah, incredible vibes having Sam Gagner back in the mix. Unfortunately, you come up 1 goal short. I want to talk a little bit about. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save that question for Brownley because there was some people last night, even some mainstream media people, being like, "Why was Sam Gagner stapled to the bench when you're down 4-3 there?" I think I wasn't as upset about that because the guys they had on the ice, are their best players. They weren't their best players last night. Gagner was one of them. But also they took a pretty extended shift. They had Dallas hemmed in. There was no chance to really change. So there wasn't a whistle or anything. But anyway, Sam Gagner, without a doubt, those 2 goals are our Alberta Blue Cross moment of the game. That place was going absolutely bananas. As Ham Sandwich says in the YouTube chat, Gagner single-handedly made that night tolerable. 100%. Yeah, there's Tony. One of the loudest ovations I've heard in my time. Yeah, when they announced Sam Gagner as the goal scorer, the place went insane. There was even a moment, I guess you wouldn't have seen it on the broadcast, where the crowd is standing up, like cheering, chanting, whatever, and then they put Gagner on the big screen. Crowd goes even crazier, and Gagner did the little like look up, and you could tell he's like fighting back a bit of a smirk because he knows the crowd's going crazy for him. And it was an awesome
I had
moment.
Goosebumps last night.
Oh, so did I. It was unbelievable. Back to my point about the Oilers being unlucky. I know people don't want to hear it. Aaron, the shot attempts last night.
Nuts.
Shot attempts were 98-42. Man.
That's insane that you can lose a game like that.
And they didn't have a shot for the first, I think 4 or 5 minutes of the game, or the shots were 2-1, like 8 minutes in or something like that. And then they just poured it on for 50 consecutive minutes. The shots were 49-27. The scoring chances, according to Natural Stat Trick, were 49-24. And yet the score is 4-3 for Dallas.
Goal lead.
The first home game against Vancouver, the game against Winnipeg, the game against Dallas. If you play that well for the next 70, you're winning a lot of hockey games, man. And it's just really, really frustrating because obviously the record isn't what we want it to be. And I like this tweet from Jay. It might sound like loser speak, but that was a loss that felt like a win because the Oilers dominated. Evan Bouchard hit 2 or 3 goalposts.
I think 3. We had the shot prop going last night.
Yeah.
That was a roller coaster in itself.
I think Scott Wedgwood had 2 or 3 saves where he didn't even see it, and it just hit him. Leon Draisaitl had a couple of one-timers from his spot where he knuckled them or he flubbed them. And it's like, okay, that's not happening very much. All those goalposts aren't happening very much. I know Dallas had one too, so you got to give them credit for that if you're talking about the other side of the coin. But the scoring chances by period, 14-7 for the Oilers, 14-9 for the Oilers, 21-8 for the Oilers.
Whew.
Again, there are some mistakes they need to take out of their game. I will continue to stand by the fact that they need a save, more saves in big moments. Their high danger save percentage at 5-on-5 is .692. Second last in the NHL. Second last in the NHL.
Who's worse? The Sharks?
No one's worse. No one's worse.
Okay.
Second last in the NHL is .754. Oilers dead last, .692. Second last is .754. There are only 8 teams in the NHL whose team high danger save percentage at 5-on-5 is below 800. And the Oilers are below 700. I know you'll sit there, 2-on-1. Don't blame the goalie on a 2-on-1. That power play goal, Darnell Nurse should have had a stronger stick and it dribbles in. Stop pucks. Scott Wedgwood stopped 47 shots or whatever last night. Scott Wedgwood. And the Oilers are sitting here, and I get it. The Broberg mistake was very dumb. Very, very dumb. Cody Cece's pinch was very, very dumb. But other teams, I know we watch the games from an Oilers perspective. Other teams make those mistakes too. The Oilers had odd man rushes. The Oilers had breakaways. The Oilers had a goalie who was turning over pucks behind his own net in Wedgwood. And they aren't finishing. Connor Brown had that one look in the first period, man, where he brought it backhand to forehand. It's like a wide open net, and the Stars defender just touches him. Just touches him, and it doesn't go in. Like, I am telling you, I know it's loser speak. I get it. But they're turning this thing around at some point. This team is playing good hockey. They're not getting breaks. It's dumb. I know. They're 2-6-1, whatever. I know it's right to be frustrated, and it is frustrating, but...
Breaking news. Oilers roster move. Defenseman Philip Broberg has been loaned to the Condors.
Okay, so here is probably why this is happening.
Whoa.
I think if Connor Brown is hurt, but not hurt enough to go on LTIR, the Oilers can't make another roster move.
Because he's waiver exempt, right?
Yeah, so Broberg's the only D-man waiver exempt.
Yeah.
So you put Broberg down, you need to call up a forward, because if Brown's hurt and can't play, Janmark's hurt and can't play, but you can't put him on LTIR, you can't make a recall. So you can't play 10-7 tomorrow against Nashville in that scenario. So Broberg goes down. I expect a forward to come up, and we're going to see the team go.
Adam Ernie season again? Because isn't Peterson hurt? Drake Kajula's hurt.
Yeah. So it's Raph or it's Ernie.
Please be Raph. Please be Raph.
I really do. But the point is, like, the Oilers cap situation, that explains the Broberg thing. Someone says maybe Brad Malone season. Yeah, maybe.
He's a captain. Yeah. Leave him down there.
So Broberg doesn't need waivers. It's an easy paper move because you can't play 10-7. You need to go 11-6 tomorrow if you're going to play short. The good news is if you play short one game, the next game you have the right to make an emergency recall. So again, maybe Broberg will just come right back up on an emergency recall before their game after Nashville.
He's getting super benched now, I guess.
Super benched, yeah, sent down. I don't think that's a result of just his mistake.
I agree.
I really don't think it's that. All right. Let's keep the show moving along. Let's get to a little game recap with our friend Robin Brownley. It's brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant. Sherwood Ford the Giant, their fantastic new parts department. It's engaged in all parts of the season. Winter tires, winter rims, balance and wheel alignments. They have a tire quote tool on their website as well. Aaron, I am going to put this link in the description of today's YouTube event so people can check it out. Mm-hmm. Go check out the tire quote tool. Tires are an important thing to get right.
Damn right.
Maybe I'll bring the Nation truck.
I just got my winters thrown on.
There you go. Also, our friends at Sherwood Ford are teaming up with the people you know and love as Free Spirit Power and Marine Sports. They are coming together and making Sherwood Power Sports and Marine a brand new state-of-the-art facility coming down in the heart of Sherwood Park, a 91,000-liter test pool. Whether you're looking for a pontoon boat, maybe a fishing boat, ATV, side-by-side, motorcycles, it's all coming February 2024 at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Robin Brownley from Oilers Nation swinging by. He's filling it. He's like our Liam fill-in today because Liam is on the road to Saskatchewan to watch junior hockey or something like that. Brownley, I know you were just listening to the last little bit of the show. Do you agree with my assessment that the Oilers are unlucky, or are you going to push back against that?
He has to unmute himself. I can't do it.
Robin, you got to unmute yourself. Maybe. Yeah, there we go.
I'm back. That's okay. I was moving around and I fumbled the microphone all the way across the room, and it took me 5 minutes to see if it would even function again, but that's just my clumsiness. I think we got a bunch of loser talk here, Tyler. I think that you're making excuses. I think that you're looking the other way. I think you're ignoring the obvious. This team, how do you lose that game, Tyler? Given the schedule the Stars had, second of back-to-back games. Here, we'll give you our backup goaltender. That's not good enough. And I think we're seeing some of the frustration in the post game with the players. But the problem is this: frustration after the game is decided doesn't do you any good. It's great for shows like this. It's great for blogs. It's great for, who dropped the F-bomb this time? But you know what? You can't lose that game, and you can't have a guy who's what was the word on Sam? He's too old, he's too small, and he's too slow to be your best player. How does that happen in a game where you've talked the talk and now it's time to walk the walk after you got back on the right track against Calgary? How does that happen? To me, there's no excuse, yet you seem to be finding them.
I look at it and I go, that game in isolation outside of the start to the season, we'd walk away going, hey, the Oilers were the better team. They just lost. Like, with the record is what makes it frustrating. But like 98 shot attempts, 49 shots on goal. Like, I know it's now happened a couple times this season, but it feels like if they play that way again tomorrow, they're going to blow the Predators out of the building.
I don't know. Are the Predators going to throw something other than a backup goaltender at them?
Yeah, fair.
I you know what? I'm having a bit of fun here, Tyler, because I've been one of those guys to a point. I've seen this team every which way you can look at them for many, many years, going back into the 80s. And sometimes I roll my eyes when it's silver lining time or we deserved a better fate. And other times it is true. And in that particular game, I think you could argue that it might be true. But the problem is they keep making the same mistakes. The power play is falling off, and it's falling off from historic highs, so let's be real. But just the little bit of slippage here and there, people are going, McDavid's not right. There's something wrong with McDavid. You know what? I agree. He doesn't look right. Is it whatever kept him out of the 2 games and he was clutching his side? Why is Leon Draisaitl was automatic from that circle? Why does that converge in the same night where McDavid doesn't get anything done, where he's shooting it wide and he's looking mortal? I mean, this is not on McDavid and Draisaitl. They're the two of the best players on the planet. But man, when you're not getting it, who else is stepping up to make a difference when it's not going for them? Well, I would expect it to be. Yeah, Evander Kane had a good game. Let me say that. I don't want to skip right past him. He's engaged. Everything about his game, and I've said this on the show with Gregor. Evander Kane is now playing like a guy who, in his mind, it's clicked that I'm all right. In other words, the injury. He's throwing people around. He's snapping the puck. He's being physical. The first few games, and it's understandable, he's kind of feeling his way in. That was an awful injury he had, and it was bad enough last spring, and then he hurt his ribs on top of that. So he looks right now, but where's everybody else, and why are we seeing the same mistakes over and over again. Why does this club always need, it seems, 4 or 5 goals to win? You can't win that way. Is it Stuart Skinner and Jack Campbell on their own? Blame those guys. Get out of here. Get out of town. No, but they're part of the problem. Aspects of the team seem to be taking turns at sinking the team at different times. And when you're 2-6-1, lots of season left, but you start doing the math. If this kind of record sticks around through a dozen games or 14 games, now you're playing 750 hockey just to finish with 90 points.
Yeah, like it's not a fun exercise to kind of do the whole, oh boy, if they lose 2 of the next 3, like you're right, 750 hockey just to get in the mix for the playoffs. Not great. Someone in the comments here, I want to get this one right. Their name is Bring Cassian Out of Retirement. Okay. This team's identity is Leon and Connor than everyone else. Say what you like. It works when those two are going. We just need Connor and Leon playing better. Like, sure, I guess, right? Last night, if Connor and Leon connect on a goal, it's going to overtime. What I did like about last night is that they stayed in the fight despite those two not being there. And they got brought back into that game by Evander Kane and Sam Gagner, 2 guys who just went out there and were determined to be the hardest working players on the ice. Looking at the lines today, Jay Woodcroft has them skating together with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I actually really like the look of that duo because it felt like last night they gave the Oilers a bit of an identity.
You know what? I disagree, or I agree, pardon me, Tyler. I wrote this morning that for me, it came down to 3 things. It came down to bad plays, bad decisions, which can be close to the same thing, and bad luck. Now, some people are going to go, oh, there's Brownley. You're giving them the out bad luck. Well, I tell you what, when Evan Bouchard puts 3 slappers off the pipe, that could have made a difference on the power play. I don't look at that and go, everything's great. That would have been the difference, because woulda, coulda, shoulda. A lot of teams can say that about a lot of different games. There were things to like there, but, I'd like to get past the lower body injury thing. This is a big picture thing. What's wrong with Connor McDavid? He's the best player on the planet. I want to know, is he idling along at 70% to try and stay in the lineup because he's a tough kid who's willing to stick it out in there? Is Leon Draisaitl okay? Man, I tell you what, they get no slack when they're great. They're supposed to be great. That's what they do. That's why they get the big dough. When they're not great, you go, how come they're not great? But I do look at the rest of that lineup, and when you get a bit of fall off in the power play, you get a little bit of fall off at 5-on-5 with your 2 best players. That's when you need a little extra from Kane, from Hyman. They were hoping to get a little of that extra from Connor Brown, and it looked like he might be able to deliver a little of it until he went limping off again. Evan Bouchard looks like a hero if 2 of those pucks go in last night. But they didn't. So that's why we end up looking at Cody Ceci. Why did you pinch there? And we look at a kid like Broberg, who didn't make a terrible play, but he didn't get the puck deep. And at the same time, Dylan Holloway says, I'm going to go to the bench. In the net it goes. These guys are masters of making the big mistake, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Like that Cody Ceci pinch in the first period can't happen. I love that you brought up Holloway and that Broberg sequence as well, because like Philip Broberg's got to get that puck deep, but also like if you're on the ice, don't go off and change until the puck is in deep, right? Like you could just wait a second and make sure you're going to avoid disaster. So the big mistakes are all winding up in the back of their net. They're going to have to cut a decent amount of that out against Nashville, because also you're probably going to have to face UC Saros tomorrow, and he's a damn good goalie. Granted, they got to him once. Would you go to Jack Campbell tomorrow between the pipes?
Yeah, I didn't. You didn't get the save that you needed from Stuart Skinner. That's different from he wasn't good. He wasn't any good. But you know, until somebody grabs the crease and says it's mine, you got to play it based on what you've seen lately. And I didn't hate Skinner. I just didn't much like him. One thing I want to jump back to, Tyler, because you touched on it before I came on, and I didn't do it. I didn't look at the shift chart, but one of the things that I noticed is, why is Sam Gagner standing at the bench uh, in the final minute and not on the ice? Now, did I not look at a shift chart and see a late long shift in there, and that's the reason? Because that's the first thing I thought. You got to have your best players on the ice, and one game does not make Sam Gagner your best player overall. But when he's jamming pucks into the net like he was last night, I want him on there with the rest of my best guys. So did I miss a late long shift somewhere there?
Yeah, like I'm just looking right now at the shift chart on Natural Stat Trick, and it looks like Bouchard, Hyman, they were out there for like well over a minute because they had him hemmed in, right? So Woodcroft talked about that a little bit after the game, saying Gagner was the next man up, but Dallas never even got the puck out of the zone. Like the Oilers were on him. So I don't know, like as much as, you know, in the moment, it's like, hey, Gagner. I also don't blame a coach for looking at Kane, Hyman, McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard and being like, those are the guys who I trust right now to go get me a goal. No, you don't agree?
No, I completely agree. But isn't it a far more exciting headline for the faithful that Gagner's hat trick goal sends game to overtime, or you know, I mean, he was a terrific story anyway. And I'm being a bit facetious, but I hadn't looked at the charts and I didn't see it off the top of my head. So yeah, having 0 wins as a National Hockey League coach, I'm not going to sit here and tell Jay Woodcroft that he messed it up. But you do wonder, because that's a guy, if he was first up and he didn't get out there, that's a legitimate answer to me. It's too bad, because it would have made for a good story.
Yeah, it would have. Okay, we got another guest coming up, but we always appreciate you hopping on, Robin. Thanks for doing this.
Okay, man. See you.
There you go. Robin Brownley for Sherwood Ford the Giant and Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Aaron, give me a nice visual of what that new building's looking like out in Sherwood Park.
My mic's not up. Oh, you mean this sick new?
Yeah.
All black exterior
Hello.
in the heart of Sherwood Park? Damn right, baby.
Yeah. Let's hope the Oilers have a nice long playoff run in them this year and they aren't going to buy any boats too soon. Get them in July.
Boat parade?
Boat parade.
Let's go. Oh, down the North Saskatchewan.
All right. Shout out to Robin Brownlee for hopping on for a little bit there. While we were talking to him, we got new line combos.
I've got some news for you.
Flash those up as we await Colby Cohen's appearance on the show. Oilers lines today from Jack Michaels, McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nuge, Gagner, Evander Kane.
Let's go.
McLeod with Holloway and Fogle. Derek Ryan is the extra forward there. I like this. I like it.
Yep.
I like when guys get rewarded for playing well. Granted, someone like Dylan Holloway didn't get the same luxury. He played a couple of really good games early in the year. He never got the bump to the top 6, but we know Jay Woodcroft likes his vets. Sam Gagner comes in last night, works his bag off, goes hard to the net, gets a couple of big goals. And you know what? With him and Evander Kane on the ice last night, there was a lot of good stuff happening in that game. I'm just pulling up their numbers. So they spent 4 minutes and 30 seconds together, almost all in the third period. Shots were 6-3, goals were 2-0.
They looked like 2 peas in a pod last night. Somebody in the postgame show said they should get an apartment together. After everything you saw from Sam Gagner, if you can capture lightning in a bottle like that, you throw it on that top 6, you see what you can do. I thought Warren Fogel's been good, but we keep saying I don't think he's a top-line winger, maybe not even a top 6 winger.
Yeah.
So that's probably more where I'd like to see him in the lineup. Once again, the irony is Sam Gagner a top 6 winger? Well, he was last night, so I'm going with that.
Ride the hot hand. Another number that kind of stood out to me last night, just as I was digging through the way the game sort of broke down, is how Ryan McLeod gets 11:34 of 5-on-5 ice time. The Oilers outshoot the opposition 12-3. He's not on the ice for a goal against. That's pretty much been every game so far this year for Ryan McLeod. Has been he's on the ice. More good things are happening than bad things, but he hasn't pissed a drop in the goal column. He cannot score right now. And last night, man, there was a moment where he had the puck on the side of the net, and he'd somehow fumbled the scoring chance even. Like, I thought he was going to have a wide open net, and he ended up with a stick handle, and it was a weak muffin into Wedgwood's pads. I said it a few times. He also had a couple bad turnovers in the ozone. And like, he might as well be playing with his stick upside down right now. He goes, flies up the ice.
Very flashy.
Yeah, very flashy. Does a lot of good things. And he just cannot score right now. And it's very annoying because he gets to good spots. There's just this hesitancy in his game. It drives me bananas.
For me, it's like what you just kind of said about Sam Gagner. How did he score those goals? Head down, stick on the ice, go right to the hoop, slam one in. I want to see more of that from Ryan McLeod, a little less perimeter based. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mikey says the Oilers just want to make this season like a movie. Yeah, I mean, sure, this is a very shitty part of the plot, though. Maynard says it has to be the last game of 97 and 29 together if they don't produce. Yeah, there was someone else. I think it was Davin who said Woody should go back to the spine, which I believe is a reference to playing McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nuge all on different lines. Can you flash up the combos for me one more time, actually?
The ones, yeah.
Right before we'll get to Colby in a second. Like, if you were to go all three centers on different lines, you're turning Ryan McLeod into a winger at that point, which I don't think is a terrible idea at all. You could keep Gagner and Kane with Nuge. You could go McDavid, Hyman, Holloway, McLeod, Draisaitl, Fogle, I guess. I don't know. It's thin, right? I get the appeal of having those three separately, but I don't know.
I'm running that top six into the ground the next game if this is what we're looking at.
Yeah, I probably am too. And I mean, whatever. You're hoping Sam Gagner is a $2 scratcher that wins you $100 this year, right?
He's got 2 fresh hips. Okay, let's ride him right here.
2 fresh hits. All right. Let's get to the Star Mechanical guest line for today. Star Mechanical is Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more about what they do at starmechanical.ca. Colby Cohen is a former NHLer. He spent a couple years at the Blackhawks broadcast team. Now he's a contributor on Daily Faceoff, and he's got spicy Oilers takes that he texts me all the time. And I said, damn it, Colby, we need to get these on the air. How's it going?
What's up, Tyler? I'm very much enjoying this serenade to Sam Gagner. I'm a big Sam Gagner fan. I grew up playing a lot of hockey with Sam. We played on a lot of summer teams together all throughout our youth hockey, and you know, he's just such a great guy, such a great person, and you know, he's just always been that way since we go back, you know, to 10 years old or something like that. So I'm always rooting to see Sam Gagner do well. And you know, I don't watch the Oilers, and I'm not as in the Oiler nation like you guys are, like day in and day out. But I always keep an eye on the score sheet to see Sam Gagner's name.
They were chanting, "We want Gagner" with 5 minutes to go in the third period last night. It was absolutely electric. And
they forget when they ran him out of town, huh?
Yeah. But he's back. We'll forget about that. He's back. Third tour of duty with the Oilers. He looked great last night. But this team, man, I mean, 98 shot attempts last night, but they suffered their 6th regulation loss of the season. Give us an outsider's perspective here. You won't be a homer. Is this just a team going through a slump, a team fighting some bad luck, or is this going to be a team, or is this a team that's just flat out bad?
So, you know, my goal is not to come on here and anger your entire fan base, but I might. And this is something I've been texting you about for a couple of weeks. So this is not a new take. And you can't deny the skill of this team. There's just players on this team that can do what no one else can do in the NHL. You know, but to me, it's just a flawed roster. It really is. I mean, I think all Oilers fans have had a lot to say about the bottom 6 for years now. This is not a new conversation. But the mix is what I have an issue with. And I have an issue with the goaltending. I think that's always been a problem in McDavid's tenure. You guys have had some good stretches from some goaltenders that have done some good things. But when you really needed goaltending, when the games were on the line, you just never seem to get it. You never seem to get that big save to keep momentum going the Oilers' way. And then all of a sudden, 4 or 5 chances don't go in one end, and then the puck is in the back of your net, and it's so deflating. So to me, that's a glaring area. And even if Jack Campbell has one good night or Skinner has one good night, to me, like I don't trust those guys come playoff time. And I'm going to point some fingers at the general manager for not having the right goaltending mix. And I'm going to point some fingers at the head coach, because Bruce Cassidy won a Stanley Cup last year with goaltending that was completely unknown to the outside world. And that was all about getting his team to buy in to managing the puck at blue lines, managing the puck at red lines, and thinking about defense first, being stingy defensively and kind of not taking shortcuts. When I watch Edmonton play at times, they take shortcuts. They cheat offensively. They want to score. And that's kind of how they're built. And the take that I have, and I've been saying it to you for a couple of weeks, and then I saw John Butchergross tweeted it, and that's what I sent you, early this morning on East Coast time, is I think they need to trade Draisaitl. I really do. And I just will say this, because I see the look on your face, because I don't want to upset you, Tyler. I know this is your show, but I will fully say, like, Leon Draisaitl on any given night is the second best player in the entire league on any given night. So this is not me coming onto your show saying he's not a good player. No, he's elite. He will be a Hall of Famer. He will be one of the greats, but it's not working. It's not working. And he makes $8.5 million right now, which is incredibly reasonable. And what happens on his next contract in 2 years when he wants $15 million a year, because the cap will have gone up and that'll be the going rate? Are you going to win a Stanley Cup when two players, and McDavid's going to be not far after him, you're going to have two players making $30 million within a couple of years? So is that going to give you enough room to win a Stanley Cup? And I look at their breakdown of contracts, and I was on Cap Friendly before I came on with you just to see, after this season, there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of turnover. Guys who have one more year, they're in the last year of deals. There's some UFAs, RFAs. There's flexibility within the roster, but I think you could get such an insane haul at $8.5 million cap hit for Leon Draisaitl that you could basically bring in and fill every hole with not just role players, but very good players. You could go to a good team. You could take their best prospect. You could take 2 or 3 of their super high-end players that make maybe $5 or $6 million each, not 8 to 10 million or 10 to 12. And I think you could put a more competitive, balanced roster on the ice. And that's not taking into account what Connor McDavid would want, what Connor McDavid would think. You guys know all that stuff better. I'm sure that he would be very pissed off, but the clock is ticking, boys. McDavid's contract isn't lasting forever. And Wayne Gretzky once left Edmonton and was traded out of Edmonton. So I'm just saying, I'm not looking to make people angry. I'm trying to support my facts. I know I'm talking a lot. The floor is yours.
Well, if you're not looking to make anyone angry, didn't do a great job of that. Chat's relatively
Chat is on
off.
fire right now.
Chat is absolutely on fire. But
sorry, everyone.
Here's my counter to that is when we've seen teams do this, they never win the trade. Boston lost that Joe Thornton trade back in the day so bad. Calgary lost that Matt Tkachuk trade really, really bad. And they got Jonathan Huberdeau back, a guy who was supposed to be a 115-point guy, a potential top pairing guy in Uyghur and picks. And they still are sitting there going, damn, now we need a new franchise player. I think the Oilers can fill the holes that they have by dealing picks and prospects. And I don't think there's a sum of the parts that can equal Draisaitl when he's at his best. Like, you're basically at that point sacrificing the best power play of all time, because you need both those guys, 97 and 29, for that to work. And you're sacrificing something that no other team has, which is the ability to put 2 of the best players in the sport on the ice at the same time when you need a goal.
And what I will say to that, Tyler, and I don't remember the Thornton trade. Like, I know he was traded from Boston, obviously, but I don't remember the intricacies of it. The Tkachuk one, I think, is a little different because he forced his way out. It was well known that he was leaving and that he was only going to certain places because of the sign and trade part of that deal. So there was limitations as to who Calgary could try to make a deal with. So that's all. The Thornton one, you would remember, and you know that better than I do. But I think you could go out and find a player that maybe isn't a top 10 best player in the NHL, but maybe somewhere in the top 25, and you put him with 97, and 97 is going to make them a top 10 best player in the league. And you can do that. And let me just, I'll just quickly read what Butchergross's tweet was that I sent to you, and what he put up. He said, would you trade Draisaitl and Foegele for last year's Vezina winner? Okay, so there's your goaltender, DeBrusk, Matthew Patra, Lysell, a 2026 first rounder. I probably wouldn't make that deal. Like, that deal to me isn't good enough. I would need more. But a haul like that, like, I'd go after Jeremy Swayman, not Linus Ullmark, and I'd start there. And then from there, I would start trying to pick apart that roster. I would want, Portra or Patra, and then, I would want DeBrusk, and I would want these guys. DeBrusk could score 25 or 30 goals on the Edmonton Oilers. Like, he could. I mean, he's not in Draisaitl's class, but, I do like I do like Jake DeBrusk. Sorry, I said Matthew, but I don't know, man. It's not working. The way they're doing it isn't working. It hasn't worked.
I think, and the reason I wanted to have you on to go through this thought exercise is, if this season does not turn around, I think there are some very, very, very difficult conversations that need to happen this summer, because Draisaitl is extension eligible. You need to know if he's going to commit to you for another 8 years. But I mean, to get to a point where you're asking that guy, to waive his no movement clause, as soon as you do it, kind of similar, I guess, to what I know of the Gretzky trade, where as soon as you consider it, you got to do it because you've burned the bridge. And I would just worry if you've then burnt the bridge with 97 and then screwed yourself out of keeping 97 as an Oiler for his career. But I do think if this thing doesn't turn around this season and they don't make the playoffs and win 2 or 3 rounds even, then yeah, there's going to be a big roster construction conversation that happens this summer. And it's probably going to be a new GM making those decisions as well. So, I mean, I don't know. Nothing will be off the table if it doesn't turn around. But I don't think I'm being a homer when I say they'll get back in the mix here. They will make the playoffs in this Pacific Division.
Yeah, I don't think you're being a homer. I really don't. And look, I want to see, I like this idea of McDavid lifting the Stanley Cup for the NHL. A lot of people say, oh, like, you guys out in the eastern part of the United States have all this East Coast bias. And I love when Edmonton is playing out here and the games are at 7 p.m. and I can watch Edmonton without falling asleep, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Edmonton, when they're going, are as fun to watch. They're like watching Tampa a couple years ago. They get the puck. I mean, when they came to town against Chicago and I would be between the benches, I probably would talk half as much as I normally would on a broadcast, because I would just be watching McDavid, because it's mesmerizing to watch this guy play at that level. And Draisaitl, he's a behemoth of a man. Like, Draisaitl is a monster out on the ice, and just watching what these guys can do at that, from that vantage point it's incredible. So I know I've angered your fan base and I've angered your listeners, but I'm not looking like, this doesn't make me happy to say. I just think that it's not working. It's been another coach. We're on a second GM. They signed Campbell. Like, everything that they seem to try hasn't paid off yet. Love Ekholm at the trade deadline last year. I haven't seen him as much this year. I don't know. You guys could tell me better if it's working well this year, but he's what, 33, 34 years old now. I mean, guys who play 24 and 25 minutes, they hit that 33, 34-year-old mark, and there's going to be a little bit of trail off. So, I worry about the decor. I think Nurse is a little bit inconsistent. I really do. I don't think he brings it every night for a $9 and so million a year player. If he's going to be your true number one, I'm not sure he really is, but that's what I got for you. I hope you'll have me back. I'm sure I didn't make any friends today.
We'll have you back on when the Oilers record gets back to 500, and then we'll revisit this whole conversation. But I had like a bunch of outside Edmonton questions to take my mind off the Oilers. I'll throw one at you because we are kind of running out of time. Jack Hughes is sick, and he's playing hockey not that far from where you're living right now. What's his ceiling this year, man? Like, can he be a 130-point guy?
I mean, if you asked me like 2 weeks ago, I was like, no, he'll trail off. Like this is just a hot streak, but it doesn't look like it. And you know what makes him elite, in my opinion, is just the speed and the pace that he plays at when he gets the puck. You know, there's only maybe half a dozen players in the NHL that can get to fifth and sixth. You know, McDavid is seventh, eighth gear, but him and McKinnon are alone in that category. But then there's only a few more that can hit that sixth gear, right? These guys who are like Ferraris when they get the puck. And Hughes is like a Ferrari, man. When he gets the puck, he gets faster. And you can just see the way he's kind of picking apart defensemen, changing his speeds. I mean, that goal he scored where he kind of comes into the zone a little bit lazily and throws a head fake. And then his acceleration is so quick that he's able to head towards the net. And, you know, this was probably a goal he scored a week or two ago. And I just was like, wow, the way he's able to change his speeds is you know, because he's learning the league. I mean, yeah, why would he slow down? Look at how he's playing. Look at who he's playing with. I think playing with his brother, his younger brother, has given him a whole another level of energy because of how exciting that probably is day in and day out. I think that type of family stuff matters. And I think especially as an older brother, you want to set an example for your younger brother. He's incredible. Like he's going to be there at the end for the scoring leader this year. Like he's gonna stick around. Can he keep up with the way McDavid scores? Can he keep up with the way that Draisaitl scores overall over 82 games? We'll see. He hasn't done it yet, but it looks like he's on pace too.
Colby, always appreciate your time, man. This was fun. We will do it again soon, and we'll do DFO Live together again in November.
Don't give anybody my address, please.
There you go. Colby Cohen, contributor for Daily Faceoff, former NHLer on the Star Mechanical guest line. Let's dig into what you guys are all saying in the chat about that.
Let's just say that they are fired up. Right
but
now.
I like it. And okay, there's one in here that I actually really want to touch on. It's from Elston, who says, it's hilarious how mad people get over hockey takes. Yes, 100%, because I said that waiving Connor Brown was a dumb idea, and I was getting just absolutely murdered on Twitter. Dude, the last 24 hours, my mentions have been insane. There's one guy who tweeted Oilers Nation and was like, I will not consume content until you fire this scrub. Get him out of here. And I liked the tweet. And
Get out of my chair, buddy.
Yeah, the guy I liked the tweet, didn't respond. And then he DM'd me, calling me every name in the book. This is because I said waiving Connor Brown was a dumb idea. And this dude DM'd me, calling me every name in the book. You can imagine what he's saying, and then blocked me.
Last night had a moment, Tyler, after the game. You know, you're just looking for anything to pick you up. So it was putting you back down, and I went to go check your mentions to be like, yeah, let's get a look at this right now. And it did make me feel better about myself. So thank you for taking the bullet for the team.
And like, again, Colby's not the only guy with that take. John Buccigross is like the face of hockey coverage for ESPN. He had the take yesterday. So
the return that Colby said, I would scoff at that return. I would never do that. But some combination of a Swayman, DeBrusk, give me Charlie McAvoy in there, and you got yourself a deal.
Yeah. You need another like stud back, like Colby said, like a top 20. But again, they're going to turn this thing around.
We're not doing that.
I'm so like this. After they lost 8-1, I was laughing. After they started whatever it was, 1-4, I was pissed. But now I've watched, like after the Rangers game, and they lost 3 to the Rangers, I was pissed. I was like, this team doesn't want to compete. This team doesn't want to give any sort of an effort on a consistent basis. But now after watching them do what they did to the Flames outside, and then put up 98 shot attempts on the Dallas Stars. I know, backup goalie, no reason you should lose that game. 98 shot attempts in 60 minutes of hockey is bananas. I'm sitting here today, I'm fine. I said yesterday they will be back at 500 by the time they play the Tampa Bay Lightning on November 18th. I am standing by that take. They will sweep.
I think we're going to be all right.
They'll win 1 of 2 against Seattle. They'll beat the Preds. They'll beat the Canucks. They'll beat the Sharks, and it's all good. Bear with a gun says, get the likes up. Yes, hammer the like.
Colby's still in here, and he said, I'd do it for McAvoy.
There you go, Colby. Naeem says, if this pathetic team somehow loses to Nashville, someone better get fired. I don't even think we're there yet. Tyler Mulick is keeping an eye on Oilers practice for us. Skinner just smashed his stick on the goalpost in frustration and left the ice. Main practice appears to be over, but there are still some drills happening. So Oilers putting in the work this morning. They're going to be back in action tomorrow afternoon. My beer league goalie D Card says, is it too much to ask of the boys to show a little emotion? But I think that's why the Sam Gagner spark is significant. And Evander Kane, like I did this whole thing yesterday, but go through every player on the Oilers, like McDavid. Okay, when he's great, he's like way over here. When he's bad, he's still good. Zach Hyman, when he's on his like game A+, he's here. When he's bad, he's kind of like here. Like it's not a huge gap. Nuge, not a huge gap between his great and his bad. Evander Kane, when he is on, when he's off,
you need longer arms, and that's saying something for you.
And that's why it's so frustrating. But what we saw last night was a dude who, when he was on the ice at 5-on-5, he was the best player on the ice pretty much every shift last night. Yep. And that's why it's frustrating because you want more from him. And that's why I like pairing him up with Gagner because in a weird way, like I think Gagner led the team in hits last night. And every time he hit someone, the building responded. And the guys on the bench, I think it gives them a bit of a boost. I like playing them together tomorrow because I think it could give them a bit of an identity. It could give this team a bit of energy or, as Dylan says, a little bit of emotion. So I like the way this line chart is looking for tomorrow. The Oilers, they toy with the Nashville Predators. Mm-hmm. It's like a cat with a mouse, man. They just palm around. Leon Draisaitl's probably going to score 8 points tomorrow.
You think I'm trading him before that game?
Yeah, no, you do not trade Draisaitl before a Predators game because you know you're getting 4 or 5 points out of it. I'm calm. Even though I'm yelling and like kind of whatever, and I'm getting a little sweaty, I'm relatively calm about this team. So I don't know. It'll be okay.
Still feel good. I still have confidence.
Yeah.
Last night, I know it's loser talk, and I hate doing loser talk on After Dark, but we were the better team, I think, in every degree. And once again, Connor and Leon didn't even look that great. Bouchard hit a couple posts. RELAX. I know I've said that way too many times. It sucks. We're having a bad time. But hey, hit that like button.
And I'm telling everyone to relax. And now for the next 24 hours, there'll be people on Twitter being like,
tweet at Tyler.
You're gatekeeping. Don't tell me how to feel about the team. Kind of what the whole show is like to sit here and talk about the team. And I think it's going to be
I love when they rip your opinion, and then I'm like, well, you don't have to watch, right? But keep doing it. If you don't like his opinion, keep watching. Keep hitting the like button.
Lance says Nashville's a paper mouse. I do like that whole paper tiger thing. That's somehow become our word on the show. Yeah. I still don't fully understand it, but we'll keep using it. Using words that we don't really know is kind of also a huge bit on this show. Okay, we got some stuff to take care of before the end of the show. It's 12:52, bro. 52 minutes just flew by. Crown Royal, generous guy of the week. And I wanted to give some love. Actually, before we do that, Crown Royal, crown everything.
I'm getting to it.
Do we have where's the app?
You won't find any grand gestures or flashy displays of generosity here. $1 million donations or names on a hospital ring. That's not the only way generosity lives. It doesn't need money or an audience or even acknowledgement. It just needs good people to be good to people. There's no one way to be generous. There are endless ways. And there's a crown for every one of them.
All right, my generous guy of the week for our friends at Crown Royal is Washington Capitals forward TJ Oshie, Aaron. He is the founder of War Road Protective Gear and his brand's Tilo, T-I-L-O, neck and wrist base layer. It's sold out after the tragic passing of Adam Johnson, and TJ last night in the game was rocking it. I actually think, I know a lot of people in NHL circles are doing like it doesn't look good. I don't like the look of it. And I know Rasmus Dahlin took his off for the third period because he said he was overheating. But I love that TJ Oshie has this company. It's not like a crazy money-making venture for him or anything like that. He made this company to better protect players. It's now out of stock. They've sold out again since the tragic passing, but I love that Oshie's bringing some attention to this, going out there and rocking this stuff in an NHL game. And this isn't a great word to use for it, but he's normalizing the look of it a little bit.
I think younger kids will see TJ Oshie wearing it. Oh, he has his own company. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did the WHL make this mandatory?
Yeah, WHL is making neck protection mandatory too. Oshie after the game said, quote, "We're grown men. You can make your own choices. I made my choice for my kids. I want to stick around for them. I'm just trying to decrease the chance of injury." So sometimes generosity, it lives in different ways, lives in the small things, or in this case, a pretty big thing as well. I think TJ Oshie just taking care of himself and setting a good example is a generous thing. So shout out to...
Whoa, look at that. Shout out TJ Oshie.
Shout out TJ Oshie. Shout out our friends at Crown Royal. Crown Royal, crown everything. Let's get to the menu for this weekend. Aaron, it's delivered by DoorDash, where
Ding
for a
dong.
limited time, our Canadian listeners can get 25% off and no delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when they download the DoorDash app. Just 2 games on tap tonight in the NHL. Buffalo taking on Philly, and the second game tonight is New Jersey taking on St. Louis. Bit of a lame appetizer on a Friday night. If Liam was with us, he'd be upset about it. He'd complain. Tomorrow, though, your main event of the weekend is the Nashville Predators taking on the Edmonton Oilers. 1 o'clock puck drop down at Rogers Place. Saros and Campbell are your expected goalies. Some good games tomorrow night as well. Buffalo and Toronto should be a good one. Leafs really need a win. And because we're not just hockey fans on this show, Aaron, we do like talking a little bit of NFL football.
Yes, sir.
It is an awesome NFL slate this weekend.
It starts awesome, too, with the Germany game.
Yeah, Germany game, 7:30 a.m. Sunday, Miami, KC. NFL Sunday's your dessert for your sports weekend. That Oilers one's the entree. Football's the dessert. Buffalo taking on Cincinnati on Sunday night. You can park yourself on the couch for 12 hours and have a good football game pretty much at every point, because in the early slate at 11 a.m., Seahawks-Ravens should be tremendous. The 2 o'clock slate.
Cowboys-Eagles? Sign me up.
And then Bills-Bengals at night.
You didn't mention the Patriots and the Commanders, Tyler. What do you mean?
Anything you like from, if we're tying this into Betway as well, anything you like from a betting perspective on this NFL slate?
Just kind of looking through right here. Ones that jump out to me, the Saints over the Bears. The Bears are absolutely dog shit. And I just got a notification right now. Justin Fields still doubtful. Tyson Bagent, he's not good. He's not a good player. So I really like that one. The Giants Raiders is such a toilet bowl game that somebody has to win. Those ones can be fun to bet on. I like the Bills against the Bengals, but that's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that the DeMar Hamlin game last year?
It was, yeah. Should be an emotional one out in Cincinnati as well, on the field where it happened. My teasers have been cold over the last couple of weeks, but I'll give one out anyways. Take the Bills at +2, tease them up to +8. Combine that by taking the Saints from -8 all the way down to -2 against the Bears. And then for the third play, I think I'd take the Ravens from -6 and tease them down to even.
Oh, I would also, if you could get any defensive props or stuff for the Cleveland Browns, their D is absolute fire. And they're playing against Clayton Tune.
That's a fake person. So thank you.
Hey, I had to pick him up in fantasy in a super flex.
Shout out to Betway. DoorDash. Let DoorDash be your holiday hack. Ding dong. Promo code top of the screen, Nation25, all caps. Also to our friends at Betway 19+, please play responsibly.
Love Betway.
What's Lance talking about? Raiders season's turning around. No, it's not, man. The Oakland Raiders are very, very, very
The
bad.
Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, sorry, Las Vegas Raiders. Jesus. Adam Eliason. My generous guy is Colby for giving this chat a take to hate. Bobby Knight passed away the other day. Legendary basketball coach. Yeah. And one of his quotes was, I know you and I both heard this today, was that he loved being a jerk to his players because it brought them closer together. It was like a united front. That was Colby for us.
Daryl Sutter. I mean, it didn't work out in the end for him. But
Colby today, I wanted him to bring the chat together. I feel like we were fighting a bit too much. And the one thing we can all agree on is that we don't want to see the Oilers trade Leon Draisaitl. Again, I had no problem with the way he presented his take. He's not the only one thinking it.
It made sense with the numbers, but I don't want to hear it.
And you know what? I knew none of you did either. So there you go. We're all going to get brought together with that take there. So shout out to Colby for coming on and giving us a few
He's a great
minutes
guest.
today as well. Dacky said, I don't hate Colby's take. I just don't see a haul that would be an equivalent exchange and get us any closer to a cup. I agree with you. That's kind of my take on it too. Like, yeah, if shit doesn't get better this year, big changes are coming. You better believe it. But I don't see a way in which you become a better team by trading Draisaitl.
Absolutely not.
Same thing. Like, that's just the
And
thing.
my worry is burning the bridge with Connor McDavid.
Yeah, totally.
He's coming right up.
Yeah, Naeem says if Dry says he won't sign, won't have a choice. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to cross that bridge yet. It's still a long ways in the distance. Big game this weekend. The Oilers need to get a win. I think tomorrow must win.
And I'm in the Oilers Nation Everyday time slot tomorrow, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. So tomorrow, pre-gaming with Bordsy, we're going to be going live at noon. So we'll have that. And then Oilers Nation After Dark, which won't be after dark. It'll be Oilers Nation afternoon. That one will be going live immediately following the game. New episode of Oilers Nation Radio going to drop this afternoon as well. So you can look for that wherever you get your podcast from, or full video available on the Oilers Nation YouTube. Oiler fan. I wish Clefbaum never got hurt. Yeah, me too.
I think he just liked one of our posts.
Yeah, he did. He liked one of our Oilers Nation posts. Kennedy's on cloud 9 about the whole thing.
I know.
All right, it is 1 o'clock, so we got to let everybody go. Big shout out to Sports Closet for, as always, sponsoring the Sports Closet studio, sportscloset.ca, or 3 locations in the Edmonton area: St. Albert Mall, Sherwood Park Mall, and Kingsway Mall. Both Sherwood Ford, The Giant, and Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Check out the Sherwood Ford, The Giant's new tire quote tool. I keep meaning to put that. I'm going to put that link in the YouTube like right now for the end of the show. Also, got to give some love. Crown Royal for our Friday segment, The Generous Guy. Alberta Blue Cross for the moment of the game. The YouTube chat, which is brought to you by Finning Cat, DoorDash, Wendy's, and Betway. This was a fun week of shows. We'll be back Monday to talk about the 3-6-1 Edmonton Oilers. Chat with you then.
That's right.
Thank you for watching Oilers Nation Every Day. Hit the subscribe button to never miss a show. And for more, visit OilersNation.com.